Coffee remains one of Uganda's main foreign income earners, accounting for 30% and amounting to 1.9 trillion shillings. At household level, over 43% of farming homes depend on coffee for income. In fact, Uganda is currently working hard to boost coffee export from the current 4.7 million bags to 20 million bags by 2025. While these plans are good for the sector, the threat of not achieving them is looming as climate change takes center stage.
We face a very long drought, and usually rain comes unexpectedly, and when we expect it, it doesn't come.
Several studies have revealed that increase of temperatures could wipe out coffee growing in Uganda by 2030. So far, there is a notable temperature increase of approximately 0.5 to 1.2 degrees Celsius for minimum temperatures and 0.6 to 0.9 degrees Celsius for maximum temperatures. As temperatures soar, coffee stakeholders fear for the worst, as an increase of 2 degrees centigrade could halt coffee growing in Uganda.
The global trends are very clear that for any increase of 2 degrees centigrade in temperatures, these directly affect agriculture generally, and also specifically coffee. And it has been projected that by 2050, and this is by United Nations Environment Program, if not much has been done, coffee could be wiped out.
In light of the above revelations and trends in climate change, National Union of Coffee, Agri-businesses and Farm Enterprises, NUCAFE, a leading coffee players, swung into action. It quickly thought of a way to prepare for the changing weather and adapt to increasing temperatures while boosting coffee yields in Uganda. This is how improving climate resilience for small-scale coffee farming systems in Uganda through modeling of adaptation and mitigation potential in the coffee value chain project was born. To kickstart this initiative, NUCAFE partnered with NIRAS, supported by Nordic Climate Facility, an initiative by Nordic Development Fund, and Agri-businesses initiative in 2016. To maximize gains and lessons learned, several pilot studies on both climate change adaptation and mitigation were undertaken.
We have had a pilot around Lake Victoria Crescent or Lake Victoria region, looking at 6 coffee farm associations and cooperatives, working with the smallholder farmers in these areas around Lake Victoria to test out a number of adaptive measures and mitigative measures that can help them build that kind of resilience that a smallholder farmer can have, that even when there is an intense drought or there is rain that has come at a time when it is not expected, the farmer can still survive in production.
It's important that the projects and the trainings that the project does, the pilots that the project does, that they benefit in the end the farmers, the coffee farmers, the smallholder farmers, that they receive a higher income, better quality coffee, and manage better, at the same time manage better climate change related issues such as drought, and change in weather patterns.
Our approach was to not just do the pilot project, but also create a lot of trainings, because practices needs to be taught out and they need to be replicated by the farmers for them also getting the knowledge they need and deserve to become better farmers, but also more well-equipped when extreme events happen, as we have seen also in Uganda, extreme drought.
The project intends to empower 6,000 smallholder families from at least 20 rural community cooperatives. Improving climate-smart agriculture practices is of essence. NUCAFE is encouraging farmers to stump their old trees with a view of having them regenerate with higher yield potential. Most of the farmers are picking up this lesson and their yields are getting better day by day.
The coffees that have been stamped will give us good yield, and we also look at good quality, because a stamped coffee tree will bring out the best coffee quality that is desired on the market.
To stem effects of harsh weather, NUCAFE is also encouraging growing of indigenous trees in coffee plantation.
We can have them as buffers, and we also spatially put them on the farm, because you can see those buffer trees over there. They keep our birds, they keep insects, call it collectively biodiversity, because there is flora and fauna, in those buffers.
It has always been taken as a blanket that we should have shade trees into our coffees, but under this pilot project of building farmers' resilience, we see that even within the shade trees, we need to be selective, as recommended by the National Coffee Research Institute. We had, during the baseline, we had a reach out again to the Coffee Research Institute, National Coffee Research Institute, and we had a recommendation of the best trees that can be applied, especially for the region around the central region, because in each of these places in the country, the different trees in the different regions, you are supposed to plant different trees. The trees that you plant in the central are not the trees that you should plant in the east, nor should they be the trees that you plant into the west.
We are planting Ficus nantalensis, which is called Omutuba. Then we are doing Ficus mucosa, which is the Omukunyu, which have got a number of benefits, ranging from enriching the soil with nutrients and also improving the aeration around the farm.
We encourage planting fruit trees such as jackfruit or mangoes, on the sides, not right in the middle of the garden, because this will help to keep our younger ones on the farm to learn, but at the same time, while they are enjoying, the fruits like jackfruit, like mangoes.
The rationale is to have these trees provide a shade cover to protect coffee from scorching sun radiation. In the same village, another farmer, Mzee Kasuja, is also on a learning curve. He has been taught on how to use trenches to retain water that is ideal for coffee growing. Farmers are also encouraged to use biochar to boost soil nutrients on their gardens.
Biochar is a new innovation that is coming on board to improve the soil pH, to contribute to retaining water, at the same time also improving the soil water retention capacity in a very good pH environment.
And actually, the other important element also, it increases the uptake of nutrients by the plant. Because I will tell you something, it is one thing to have nutrients in the soil, but it is another also to have these nutrients available to the plant. So the other importance of having biochar in the soil is indeed to increase the uptake of these nutrients by the plant.
More pilot projects are taking place here in Bunja-Kompiji district. Located at the shores of Lake Victoria, through demonstration farms, farmers are learning how they can extend water to their coffee plantations. Here, water is drawn from the lake using solar pumps and later released to tanks. From here, water is released using gravitational force through pipes and later sprinklers. It is hoped that as temperatures soar, farmers are able to rely on irrigation to meet the required water volumes to protect and maintain coffee yields. In the same village, different demonstration farms have been partitioned. Here, each of the gardens partitioned has a specific adaptation and mitigation measure applied and monitored. The intention is to prove which measure is ideal for coffee growing and thereafter recommend it to the wider coffee growing community as a game changer.
In each of these different associations and cooperatives, we always had two different demos. One at a level of 1 acre and the other at a level of 4 acres. What is it that we are able to get a quadrant? We can divide them into 4 different categories to give them different treatments, and looking at the different treatments to see how the plant, a coffee plant, can perform under the different treatments, so that at the end of the day, a farmer can choose, because this is a program which is practical and is centered around the farmer. Because the farmer ownership model has been keen to this, and would like to see the farmer is involved and participates in choosing what can give the best returns.
Besides these interventions, farmers are also being advised to intercrop as well as practice mixed farming. It is believed that such practices widen the farmer's income. Animal and poultry refuse from such practices is being encouraged as an ideal source of natural manure for plantations.
The nutrients in their fecal matter is high compared to ruminants.
Okay.
Yes, so that's why when we get the manure from the pigs, it relatively has more nutrients compared to the ones of the cow dung.
Other activities such as apiculture are also being mooted. Besides the associated income from honey, bees are expected to boost pollination, ideal for coffee growing. To maximize yields, a new trend and formation of planting has been tested and proved to boost yields. The 3x1 pattern is the latest craze championed by NUCAFE to have more coffee plants in small spaces and still have successful produce.
3 meters is this way. So this is 3 meters apart between the rows, and then 1 meter between plants. Now on an acre of land here, you are able to have at least 1,333 plants, away from 450 plants. This is what it translates into, is that you are able to have at least 3 metric tons of coffee every year, away from only producing 300 kilograms. So this is 10 times more.
Apart from demonstration farmers, NUCAFE's climate change programs is also uniting and training coffee farmers to embrace the use of digital platforms. Under this scheme, farmers are shown how they can use internet to learn more about coffee growing, as well as search for better markets for their produce on several internet sites.
We're training them on how they're going to use the tablets to profile their farmers, and also how they're going to use the tablets to report the activities they have done in their associations.
We started by a few areas where this project was implemented. For example, we had in Central, and in Central that was Mabira, Bujikwe sub-areas.
We are going to offer them capacity and access to finance, value chain addition development.
Based on the outcome of what we have been able to model out in these last 2 years, we should get into scaling up, and of course we'll invite more other interested partners to come on board, and then we upscale this to be able to benefit more other farmers that have not been part of the pilots but could take them up.
Uganda is really on the takeoff to even produce the 20 million bags that we are yearning to produce come 2025, 2030. So my plea to now stakeholders is that we need to take up what we have learned, what our findings have been, the achievements we have made in this project to create impact all over the country.